What is the window for the Bears, in your belief?
Unlimited. As long as Caleb's there and Ben Johnson's there, this is something the Bears, they wanted it forever. Back to Sid Luckman. I mean, there has not been a franchise quarterback on the Chicago Bears since Sid Luckman.
I mean, speaking of Ben Johnson and his hatred for the Packers, are you surprised to hear a head coach be so vocal about buying into kind of the narrative that he's built around the rivalry?
Well, what's surprising about it is within the coaching industry, it's a community and they all know each other and they may be working with each other. They may need to call the other guy for a favor, for a job, whatever. And to lean completely into the idea that I'm the Bears coach, the Bears hate the Packers, Bears fans hate the Packers, so I am going to adopt that persona. I think fans love that. I think that one of the things that drives fans crazy is when the game ends and the players from the two teams go out and they're hugging each other and they're holding the jerseys up and the team that lost doesn't seem very upset. That just drives fans crazy because they have that passion that they want to see in the players and in the coaches. And for the coaches, I don't think it was ever that way. Ben Johnson's trying to make it that way. And I just think it's hilarious because Matt LaFleur's reaction to the whole thing is,
What did I do?
Yeah, what did I do? How did I get in the middle of this?
He didn't do anything. He's just wearing the wrong colors. That's the matter of fact. It's very college. That's what it reminds me of. And I think it's great for the NFL. And again, if you're on the Bears side, Ben Johnson's side, you love it. And if you're on the other side, you hate it, especially when he backs up his words and does beat Matt LaFleur twice.
Well, you're right. It's like Ohio State, Michigan, and the Bears, Packers, that's the equivalent when you think about it. I mean, for the 100th season of the NFL, when they bumped the Super Bowl champion out of the Thursday night opening game, they picked Packers-Bears. That is the rivalry in the NFL. And now, with both teams playing well, both teams having successful seasons, meeting in the playoffs, the arrow's only going to go up with that rivalry.
And part of that is Caleb Williams, which Ryan Poles alluded to. They're preparing to hopefully pay him in a couple of years. The Bears haven't had to deal with that, and it obviously affects what they're able to do now and in the future. How does that change the philosophy from what you know from a front office standpoint, trying to win now, or do you do it and space it out so you can still pay Caleb Williams?
Well, what you have to do is plan for the reality that after this coming season, the window's going to open on a second contract for Caleb Williams. And if I were advising Caleb Williams, I would say don't put your foot on a blade of grass in 2027 until you get your contract. You've earned it, you've proven what you can do, and you're eligible for it. And if they want you, they got to pay you. And from the team's perspective, it only gets more expensive the longer you wait because he's only going to get better and better. The question is coming in with the right structure, the right number. The market always goes up. The salary cap always goes up. You know, fans have their eyes pop out when they see the numbers of these contracts, but the money's there for it. The salary cap's there for it, and half of all the money goes to the owners, and they're buying luxury yachts and, you know, 50
I don't know what the
homes.
McCaskies are.
Well, but for the most part, the money's there for everyone. And if I'm a Bears fan and I'm thinking, oh no, Caleb's going to want $60 million, don't freak out about that. The money's there to take care of everyone. And when you have a great quarterback, I mean, you've been waiting a long time for a franchise quarterback. One of the realities of having one is you got to pay him.
Yeah. What is the window for the Bears, in your belief?
Unlimited. As long as Caleb's there and Ben Johnson's there, you know, you got the two most important pieces. You got the coach, you got the quarterback, and they're paired together. One of the good things about having an offensive coach and not a defensive coach is you don't have to worry about the offensive coordinator leaving because he's got a head coaching job because of his work with the quarterback. So there's going to be continuity. They're going to get better and better. The challenge now for Ryan Poles in the front office is find the players to sprinkle in around. And when you have a quarterback that's going to be getting top of the market money, it makes it even more important to get young, cheap players with your draft picks who can fill those roles. And then you have to be smart about who you keep, who you don't keep. And it's just going to be a constant process, and the names are going to change. Look at what the Chiefs have gone through with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. How much has changed around him since he became the starter in 2018? That's what you need to constantly do. Be looking for the ways to have the good players around the guy who's going to be the centerpiece of the team. But this is something the Bears, I mean, they wanted it forever. Back to Sid Luckman. I mean, there has not been a franchise quarterback on the Chicago Bears since Sid Luckman. We thought that Jay Cutler would get there. The farthest he got was an NFC championship game. But it feels like this is the dawn of something that's sustainable. Unlike the 85 Bears, which never really fulfilled their full potential, this feels like something that's going to keep going up and up and up and up.
So it sounds like you're a proponent of draft, if that's how you're going to build your team. And we know
you've got to because
the edge rusher in particular.
You get the players so cheap relative to what a veteran costs. And you get them for 4 years. If it's a first-round pick, you get them for 5 years. But the best thing that ever happened for the teams, not for the players, in 2011 they revamped the way that rookies are paid. They're paid so much less relative to what veterans can make that becomes the heart and soul of your team. And that's why draft picks are so important. That's why you don't want to trade them if you don't have to. You want to keep them, and if you can acquire more, you do it, because those guys become that nucleus that just grows as your team progresses.
So what would be the fear then of trading for Max Crosby if the Raiders even want to trade him?
That would be, I'm told that they want 2 first-round picks and a player. So if you're looking at, and I know my partner at PFT Live, Chris Sims, thinks DJ Moore should be included in that package because there's a lot of good receivers on the Bears. So you're looking at 2 first-round picks. What is it this year, 25?
Yeah. 25
this year. It's probably going to be a low one next year. Maybe it's going to be number 32 next year. But are you willing to part ways with those selections and a DJ Moore, if that would get it done, to get Max Crosby? You got to look at what Crosby can bring to the team. You know, they've already been there and done that with the Raiders with Khalil Mack, but when you've got Caleb Williams, and I'm a big believer in Max Crosby. He's a transformational type of a talent. He's a guy who's going to influence other players to step up and do the things that need to be done to be great. And I think he's so anxious to get to a team that is great. Now, he's been very loyal to the Raiders, but I think they pushed it a little too far by shutting him down at the end of the season when he had an injury he thought he could play through, and that bridge may be burned now. So the Bears have to at least consider it, but it's going to be expensive. He's going to want a new contract if he shows up, and you got to balance that against what you could get with those draft picks.
Does that make an NFC Championship team?
Yeah.
So is it worth it then?
The question is, are we going all in? Are we trying to do this now, knowing that, again, Caleb's going to be there, Ben Johnson's going to be there, but this is an opportunity that falls into your lap. How do you feel about taking the big swing and trying to not just get to the Super Bowl, but, win it?
Yeah, and we know it's also a deep edge class, which also will play
That's
a
part of the
factor
balance.
into it as well.
Yep.
Ryan Poles admitted that he's had conversations with the league about not receiving the compensatory draft picks for Ian Cunningham. Is there anything that the league will change? Will they give it to them if they look at this and say, maybe we need to adjust how this is worded, or this is an exception to the rule?
I've got many thoughts about this. I'll try to be as concise as possible. First of all, the league has already told me that Matt Ryan is the primary football executive of the Falcons, and it does not matter that Ian Cunningham is the GM. Now, it's strange and confusing because Matt Ryan has said Ian's in charge of the draft and free agency. So why wouldn't Ian be the guy regarded as the top football executive and enough of a promotion to activate this provision that was put in place to reward teams for developing minority candidates who receive promotions? Now, my problem with that is the NFL has had a historic problem when it comes to the hiring practices for coaches and general managers relative to the demographics of the league and the coaches and the available candidates, and their fixes don't really work, and there's no real accountability. And this whole idea of giving teams draft picks, that's not the way to solve the problem. But if you're going to have this provision, how do the Bears not get the 2 third-round picks? So I thought it was over, but then when I saw what both Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham had to say about it, I don't know. I'd keep knocking on the door if I'm the Bears saying, I just don't think you're handling this the right way.
Yeah, on the rule, Ryan Poles admitted it's a little weird because he said the Chiefs got a 3rd-round pick. He's watching that player on the field. He's like, that's because of me. It doesn't seem to sit well with him in general. Do you keep up with the stadium, with the Bears?
Oh, yeah, I keep up with the stadium. Look, my belief is that they should be on the lakefront. And Indiana versus Arlington Heights doesn't matter to me because it's not downtown. I think the stadium needs to be downtown. And I saw after one of the playoff games, I assume it was after the Packers game, they put on their Twitter page this great shot of the stadium overhead in the city. And it's like, are you just trolling people? Like, why are you reveling in this if you're trying to move out of the city? And maybe the way this all works, because they got great leverage. They got Indiana, they got Illinois. Maybe the end result is they build a new stadium on the lakefront. And I wish it would be open air, but we know that is not happening because you can't host the Final Four outdoors.
Yeah,
they
need to host Final Fours, Taylor Swift concerts, all the above.
Yeah, think about that. If every stadium in America is like a dome indoors, there's only so many Final Fours to go around. There's only so many stops on Taylor Swift's tour. And I know Chicago would get one, but this whole idea, we got to put all the stadiums indoors, we got to have events year-round. It's like, I like football out in the elements, and we're going to see more and more teams going indoors.
It was like a movie with the snow falling in both playoff games at Soldier Field.
It was cold. I was there for the second one. It was, but I was.
But you're warm when all that happens.
I was back in the hotel watching the game. So, but
wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't. They kick us off the sideline. They don't let the pregame people stay on the sideline. We have to leave. So it's like, you know what?
That's
I'm going back
insider
to the
info
hotel.
right there.
Yeah.
All right, Mike Florio, we appreciate your time.
Sure thing.